Good evening. My name is Caitlin Sewell, and tonight I have the honor of introducing my sister-in-law, Lauren Sewell, as your guest speaker. As fate would have it, while attending West Virginia University, woo, let's go! Lauren and I were lucky enough to have mutual friends who had a great idea we should all become roommates. We became fast friends, and I felt like I didn't stop laughing the 2 years I got to live with her. Not to mention, one fortunate weekend, Lauren's at the time boyfriend Joe would bring his brother Phil to visit, and little did we know these boys would become our husbands. And so for the past 15 years, Lauren has been there for me in every high and every low. If you're fortunate to be part of Lauren's life and part of her heart, she supports and loves you through whatever season you're going through. Whether she lives in California, Florida, North Carolina, or Maryland, she's there. She shows up. Lauren has a caring heart of gold. She goes above and beyond to help even complete strangers feel loved and appreciated. She puts her heart and soul into everything she does, from being a college athlete on the rowing team, a friend, a daughter, a sister, a wife, her walk in faith, and now as a mother to her 4 beautiful children, Willow, Broderick, Shepherd, and Violet, our Letty love. Finding out a loved one or family member has been diagnosed with cancer is such a scary and helpless feeling. When we were given the news about Violet's cancer diagnosis before she was 4 months old, we were left wondering, what can we do? What can we say? Any words of support or helpful gestures feel inadequate when all that you pray and all that you beg for is to take the cancer away. We felt like useless spectators to this nightmare that Lauren and Joe are facing. But that feeling largely changed when we were introduced to the Zacking Against Cancer Foundation. And we love you, Felicia, wherever you're sitting. This foundation and the people who work within it, they showed up. They showed up for us. And I will forever be grateful for the compassion and speed with which they worked to assist my family. And I'm grateful to Zach and his family for carrying out his beautiful and selfless mission. Thank you, Zacking, for recognizing my best friend tonight. Her unwavering strength, perseverance, and devotion to Violet's fight truly encompasses a mother's love. I found a quote from Agatha Christie that I feel embodies that exact love and fight to describe Lauren. And that quote is, "A mother's love for her child is like nothing else in the world. It knows no law, no pity. It dares all things and crushes down remorselessly all that stands in its path." Ladies and gentlemen, I am so incredibly proud to introduce to you Lauren Sewell.
I need to speak now. So good evening. As Kate said, I am Lauren, wife to Joe, mama to Willow, age 9, Broderick 5, Shepherd 3, and Violet, or Letty, just shy of 9 months. It is an absolute honor to be here with you tonight. And if you would have told me this time last year I'd be speaking at a Cancer Foundation gala, I never would have believed you. Our sweet Violet was born on July 17th, 2024. I'll never forget sitting after my C-section in recovery. She screamed the entire time. Joe and I joked with the nurses she was going to give us a run for our money. Little did we know. Over the next 5 weeks, we were living on our newborn bubble, loving our family time, and watching the Olympics. Violet had always struggled with feeding since birth. We had tried everything to help her. lip and tongue revision, reflux meds, cutting out dairy, you name it, we tried it. Everything would help for about 48 hours, and then we're back to where we were started, painful screams. At 5 weeks old, she completely stopped tolerating any feeds, became extremely lethargic, and her pediatrician sent us straight to Johns Hopkins. An unexpected ER trip turned into a 2-week admission. An ultrasound showed 3 liver lesions that were dismissed as hemangiomas. An NG tube was placed through her nose for feeds, and she was diagnosed with severe reflux. Everyday rounds felt like we were going to battle. She was hitting every worst case scenario, and none of the doctors were batting an eye. She was discharged on 23-hour continuous tube feeds, only being able to tolerate 1 ounce per hour. Any more, and she was inconsolable. The first 2 weeks home, she was finally happy. But after that, things slowly started to decline. We worked outpatient to make changes, but nothing was helping. By mid-October, she once again hit her brick wall and could tolerate nothing in her stomach, not even 1 ml of Pedialyte. Her home nurse and GI doctor sent us back to Hopkins ER. The on-call GI attending told me this might just be how she is. I never imagined I would have to tell a senior attending at Johns Hopkins that he was wrong, and I wasn't leaving until he did an MRI. His face looked like he saw a ghost reviewing her updated ultrasound, and his voice cracked as he mumbled, "You know what, maybe we will get that MRI." The next thing we knew, we were being admitted and finally heading to our room. But instead of heading back up to the 9th floor like we had in September, we were heading to the 11th, the pediatric oncology floor. I'll never forget calling my husband on the verge of a panic attack to tell him they changed her admission from feeding issues to liver issues, and it was serious. They didn't know why, but her ultrasound looked like she had cirrhosis of the liver, and it didn't make any sense. The next morning, she was sent down for that MRI, and after she woke up in recovery, we were whisked back to the 11th floor. I checked my email and saw that the report was updated to my chart. Immediately, I opened it. I mean, who wouldn't? We had waited 3 months knowing something was wrong with her, and we were finally going to have an answer. The very top of the report read, suspected neuroblastoma, mass found on adrenal gland, liver covered in innumerable tumors. I couldn't stop shaking as I barely got out the words, "Joe, isn't that cancer?" Minutes later, the GI team walked in with a whole team that we had never seen before, holding my sleeping 3-month-old. Every parent's worst. The team walked in, barely making eye contact, and every parent's worst fear as the attendings knelt down to deliver the words, "Your daughter has cancer." In 5 weeks, those 3 small liver lesions spread, completely covering her liver and quadrupling it. That moment changed our lives forever. The next day, she was sent to the OR for her biopsy, and she started chemo 48 hours later. I'll never forget sitting across from her team. As they said, "We usually wait for the biopsy results, but we don't have time to wait. She needs chemo immediately." It was life or death as we signed the consents, praying it would save her little life. Instead of getting on the plane to take my 9-year-old to see Taylor Swift that weekend as we had originally planned, I now unexpectedly had a front row seat to support my 3-month-old through chemotherapy. We knew Violet could have a total of 8 rounds of chemo, each lasting 3 weeks. We had no idea how we were going to juggle Violet being admitted 24/7 with no end in sight and our older 3 kids at home. And did I mention my husband works 12-hour rotating shift for the Maryland State Police and is also in the Marine Corps Reserves? By the grace of God, our village came to our rescue. Our phenomenal parents had the big kids a lot. By the time we got to Thanksgiving, she was in her second round of chemotherapy. Thanksgiving Day was the first day in 6 weeks that we were all together. A few days later, my sister-in-law, Kate, called. Little did I know she had been working behind the scenes. I was holding Violet as I picked up the phone to hear, "I'm sorry, I hate to bother you." She could never be a bother. But she continued to tell me about an amazing foundation that wanted to help us. The foundation's name is Zacking Against Cancer, she said. We both started crying. She continued to describe how they help cancer families in the trenches, but followed with, Felicia said, "Tell her anything. Anything that would help, and she will make it happen." Once again, this tear streamed down my face. I looked at this little sweet baby I was holding, hooked up to so many pumps and wires that were keeping her alive. I was so exhausted, I couldn't think about what we needed in that moment. And the next day, Kate suggested having somebody come decorate our house for Christmas. Immediately, I had said yes. I had no idea how we were going to make it special for the big kids. Anyone who knows me knows I can be a little extra, and I have unintentionally created kids who love to celebrate big. The Zacking team did all the legwork. They found somebody that was going to make our house magical for Christmas. And a few days before they were scheduled to come, my sweet father and my very thoughtful 9-year-old put up lights, and they had no idea about this plan, put up lights outside. I felt awful, but I also couldn't break Willow's heart. She was so proud to turn on the lights when I had gotten home from the hospital that night. Felicia didn't bat an eye. She canceled and asked what they could do instead. The very next day, I was doing my best to catch up on housework. Joe or I were always at the hospital, so when we were home, we were parenting solo. Everyone was feeling the exhaustion during the 7th week of this admission, and then it hit me as I was trying to clean the bathrooms. I don't want to be cleaning the bathrooms. I mean, whoever wants to, but I really don't want to be doing this. I just wanted to play and snuggle my kids. I wanted to rest, but it had to be done. I sat on the bathroom floor sobbing as I text Kate. She knows how hard it is for me to ask for help. And Zacking with cancer made it so easy. Although I had never spoken to Felicia, I could tell how kind and understanding she was. She made me so much more comfortable to ask for what we truly needed. She did everything to set up for our home to be deep cleaned, and the day the cleaners had come, I hadn't gotten home until really late. I flipped on the lights, and it was sparkling clean. I broke down. It felt like one of the many weights on my shoulders fell off. We didn't have to worry about the organization, the booking, or even the payment. Zacking Against Cancer took care of everything. I got to just come home and even just for a second, take a deep breath. After 9 weeks, Violet was finally discharged a few days before her first Christmas. We were back at Hopkins Christmas night to start her 3rd round of chemo. The next few weeks were full of in and out admissions, unexpected ER trips, and 3 clinic visits that all ended in admissions. We were exhausted, to say the least. She was no longer tolerating tube feeds through her NJ tube and needed to go back on nutrition through her central line, or TPN. We were devastated. This kicked off another 2-week admission. During that time, she was officially back on TPN, finally had a GJ tube placed in her little belly, and started her 4th round of chemotherapy. During this admission, Kate called again. "Would it be helpful if Zacking sent the cleaners?" she said. I couldn't believe it. They had already helped so much. Once again, Felicia jumped through so many hoops to find somebody to come before Violet would be discharged. Little did she know that due to Joe being sick and his work schedule, I had not left the hospital that entire 2 weeks. Not once. Somehow, our fairy godmother, Felicia, made it happen. Bringing Violet home this time was different. With absolutely no medical background, my role as mom morphed into full-time nurse and pharmacist, learning how to mix TPN at home, administering her post-chemo drugs, medication through her central line, and giving her medication 7 times a day through her feeding tube. Our home had turned into a pharmacy. Instead of having a daunting cleaning list in the back of my mind, I could focus on Violet's 24/7 care and soak in every moment of actually having her home, never knowing when she may have to go back. Not worrying about the house when she's uncomfortable from chemo, when she's up all night and not sleeping, and just getting to spend time with my big kids. Every minute of us being home together was such a blessing. And not having to stress about the house was such a gift that Zacking so graciously provided. Zacking Against Cancer is the legacy of Zach's strength, courage, determination, and hope. And when you donate to Zacking Against Cancer, you're helping a family just like us, directly making a huge impact in their lives. You help to create a light in these families' darkest days. Zach wanted to make sure that no cancer family fought alone, and Zacking Against Cancer continues to excel at pursuing that mission. You never think it's going to happen to you until you're sitting on the oncology floor feeling like you're in the twilight zone. These families' realities are most people's worst nightmare. Knowing they have the team at Zacking who truly understands and wants to help them is invaluable. So from the bottom of my heart and tears in my eyes, thank you. Each and every one of you here, each and every one of you here tonight are helping so many families that have had their lives flipped upside down by this awful disease. Our family will forever support Zach Against Cancer, and we pray you do too. Thank you.